May I come in, sir?
Yes. Come in, come in.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. Please have a seat.
Thank you, sir.
Sally, can you please introduce yourself to us?
Yes, sir. I am Dr. SAYALI BHIKA PAGAR. I have done my schooling from Kendriya Vidyalaya, Mysore. I have done my graduation from Saptagiri Institute of Medical Sciences, Bangalore. I come from NASIK district of Maharashtra.
Okay.
My hobbies are I meditate in the form of Vipassana. I solve Sudoku. And I also enjoy studying about sleep wellness.
Okay, but this is just a formal kind of introduction. If you are asked to just point out two salient features of your personality, what would be those?
Yes, sir. I'll start with my strength in my personality. During my education and graduation, I've developed a personality which is built around problem solving, having an analytical mind, and looking at the larger picture.
Okay.
Coming to the weakness, I tend to take a lot on my plate, and sometimes that is why I tend to procrastinate. But I'm trying to do that by building a discipline.
Okay. But you are basically from Nasik.
Yes, sir.
But it is because of your parents that you landed in Karnataka, that is Bangalore.
I've done my schooling from Mysore.
Okay.
And then graduation in Bangalore.
Okay. Achha, Mysore, Bangalore. Okay, fine.
Yes, sir.
Fine. Now, what is the difference? What kind of difference could you tell us between Nasik as a city and Bangalore as a city?
So the basic difference would be that Bangalore is a tier 1 city and it is much more cosmopolitan compared to Nasik. Nasik belongs to tier 1 city as of now.
Mm-hmm.
Population wise also, Bangalore is much larger. And Nasik is around 15 lakhs population currently.
Okay. In terms of the nature of the city, what would you tell us?
So nature, should I
Bangalore,
focus on
yes.
The people?
Peculiarities of Bangalore as a city.
So Bangalore, the industries mainly in Bangalore are surrounded by IT sector.
Okay.
That's why a lot of the people come from all around the country to work there. Whereas Nasik is much of an agricultural hub along with some of the industries which are flourishing there. So we see much of a Marathi population which is local here.
Now, what explain Nasik being part of the industrial belt in Maharashtra besides being close to Mumbai Thane? Is there any other factor responsible for Nasik being evolving as that center?
So first would be that there is availability of water which is necessary for many of the industry.
Okay.
Located on the banks of Godavari. And then nature-wise also some of the industries require that mild temperature variation, which Nasik provides for. And many of the inputs, such as the capital required in the sense of labor, that is also easily available in Nasik.
Okay. Anything else?
So the port which is provided by Mumbai is also nearby.
Okay.
Since you mentioned,
that is okay.
Yes,
Fine. You are medical graduate.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And you have medical science as your optional.
Yes, sir.
Now, if you are asked to point out, and very pinpointedly, 3 challenges faced by public health in India, what would be those? So,
first most challenge which I would like to point out will be very much lack of awareness about the basic health requirement, that is sanitation, use of water, and how to approach a doctor for the basic needs.
Awareness, you are
awareness,
saying.
yes, sir.
Okay.
Second will be, we tend to focus a lot on secondary and tertiary healthcare, and there's a lack of focus on the primary healthcare, where much of the funding is required in the primary healthcare, which tends to deal with prevention. And much of the policy is also directed towards reactive policy. We tend to come in when the illness has already progressed. We are focusing on treatment part than the preventive part.
Okay. So this is the second one.
Third point would be lack of essential drugs at the ground level and trained personnel. We have lack of trained personnel at the ground level as well.
See, we have been having public health policies since so many years. Now, what is the last, that is the recent national health policy?
Yes, sir. Then last is National Health Policy 2017.
17. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Even prior to that, we had policies, national policies. Okay.
Yes, sir.
But despite that, we have not been able to deal with those basic problems. So as you cited out, awareness is what lacks as far as our society is concerned. The second one is negligence of the primary sector. The third, again, we are talking about a very basic stuff. So why that is happening?
So one of the primary reason that I consider is that health belongs in the state list, where the policies are formed by the state and implemented according to their need. So when you compare across these states, we see a large variations. For example, I have worked...
But I think that shouldn't be a problem.
So because every state has planned in a way, they have allocated budget various in different form. So we tend to always idealize Kerala and Tamil Nadu's health because they have spent a huge amount and they're focused on primary healthcare.
Yes.
But since I've worked in Maharashtra and Karnataka, I tend to see the difference that...
that is the precise problem. Why can't other states do the same thing? It shouldn't be a problem per se.
Yes, that again comes with the political agenda and the mandate that they follow in the state. And also the local bodies are much more enabled in Kerala and Tamil Nadu, which do have a say in implementing their primary healthcare. We don't see that. As we have seen from past 5 years, we didn't have local governance in both the states.
What was the problem?
So it was because of the OBC reservation issue, which went on till Supreme Court, where they wanted a clear criteria how to reserve seats and conduct elections.
Okay. Now, as far as, and you brought in your discussion, Kerala model.
Yes, sir.
Now, what is so distinct about that, besides the point you just referred to?
Yes, sir.
That is, local bodies been really empowered there.
Yes, sir.
Besides that, what other factors been playing a significant role?
So to begin with, I would like to highlight that to focus on health, we also need to focus on other parameters. Kerala being one of the first states with highest literacy, people were already empowered about their rights and knew what to demand from the government. Thus, they focused on the local bodies and asked for what they actually required at the primary level. Thus, they could deliver what the public actually needed at the ground level.
So, if we look at even the state of Maharashtra from the same perspective, let us say literacy.
Yes, sir.
So, there is not, yes, there is a difference between literacy in Kerala and Maharashtra. But nonetheless, how can we neglect the fact that Maharashtra also happens to be one of the progressive states?
Yes, sir.
But somehow we are not having that kind of, let us say, system in state of Maharashtra.
First of all, the size of both the states is very, very different. Maharashtra is huge area to cover. On top of that, Maharashtra has regional disparity as well. Some of the states some of the areas in the state are doing really well. But the tribal pockets or say the more backward areas tend to lag behind. So that's why the parameters actually show to be on the lower side in Maharashtra, taking it as the whole.
Now, to what extent financial allocation of funds matter as far as the public health is concerned?
So currently, majority of the budget goes around the secondary and tertiary sector, as I've mentioned before. Around 50 to 60% is handled by that.
Taken together at national level, sir.
And rest goes to the primary level. And on top of that, the budget as a part of GDP itself is less than 2%. And the target according to National Health Policy was to cross 2.5% for health.
Sayali, the issue was prevalent in our society since ages. But that became more visible and explicit after the pandemic. I'm talking about the mental health. Now, still we are faced with number of problems and challenges to deal with the issue of mental health. Now, what according to you are the major challenges as far as mental health is concerned to begin with?
So the major challenge, that is stigma around it. Many people fear that they will be labeled as someone with a lack of capability to handle such stress. That's why people don't tend to come out and they see that as a weakness. And that begins from a very early age. People usually find that as a weakness and don't tend to change that perspective. Also, the lack of help available at school level, be it university. There are numerous positions in colleges for counselor vacant still, which is much more necessity nowadays, given the stress and the competitive nature of all the exams happening around. Third would be the deficiency of psychiatrists and psychological help available in India. We need, according to WHO, for 10,000 population, one psychiatrist has to be there. But in India, the situation is much more grave, as we have only 1 per 1 lakh population.
Okay, so these are the issues.
Yes, sir.
These are the issues. Now, do we have a separate mental health policy, or is it part of the National Health Policy?
So we have a Mental Health Care Act.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
We have that.
Yes,
Yes. Okay, fine. But we have mechanisms.
So government has tried many ways to deal with this. First of all, they have started a Telemanas helpline through which people can avail help by just dialing that number and connecting with a counselor.
Okay.
Other than that, government is also ensuring to increase the...
Now imagine you are placed in a position of a policy maker.
Yes, sir.
And we are discussing about keeping in mind the mental health.
Yes, sir.
So what 3-4 suggestions would you put forward?
So policymaker, at which stage should I consider?
No, you are a policymaker.
Okay,
Imagine
sir.
yourself. Yes.
Yes, sir. So
But obviously as a senior bureaucrat.
Okay, sir.
Yes.
So I would start early from school itself to start with some holistic yoga, meditation inclusion in the syllabus.
That would be first thing.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Along with that, I will ensure that the counselors at all level are appointed and people don't have any hesitation in approaching
And here
them.
we are talking about the public health centers as well as the private health centers.
Yes, sir.
Hospitals, etc.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
number 2.
And even at PHCs, there should be designated days when a counselor comes and visits the center.
Okay.
We have as of now, but due to vacancies, many of the PHCs don't get that benefit.
Now, what would you do at the level of society in general? So, you rightly mentioned education is what we have to begin with.
Yes, sir.
Okay, where we begin with. So, that
Yes,
is
sir.
one thing. Second, from the government side, as well as the private sector, we have to make psychiatrists available in enough number.
Yes, sir.
But at this societal level, because if we have stigma around us, then how are we supposed to deal with that?
So one would be promoting awareness campaigns, and the thing that mental issue arises is due to deprivation of many of the basic problems.
Okay.
That is, it is a psychosocial model which says that when people are deprived of the basic facilities, they tend to go into mental depression and all that. So we have to work around that part also, especially the vulnerable group, which is more in.
Now see, there are a number of factors responsible for the mental health issues.
Yes, sir.
Now, is there any association between the process of liberalization in last 3 decades, more than 3 decades, and the subsequent things which followed LPG and the
Yes,
mental
sir.
health issue?
Sorry,
Is there any connection between
Yes, sir.
we adopting, going for liberalization,
Yes, sir.
okay, and whatever consequences we have of the process on one hand, and the mental health issues on the other hand?
So one of the reasons that I can think of is that after liberalization, we have been seeing a rise in inequality in the society, which tends to develop a sense of deprivation in the lower class, which has also led to rise in mental health issue. And after that also rise in social media and internet availability. People tend to see a world much more developed and progressed compared to what they are living in, which leads to a sense of, again, comparison and being left out.
That is fine. Yes. Yes.
So now when we are talking about health, what you will prefer, medicine or meditation?
Sir, I would prefer both, because they both have different functions. Meditation in general for a human is like a preventive therapy, I would say. When a person practices meditation daily, they tend to develop a resilience towards all the pressure they face later on in life. Whereas medicine is something, when you get a disease, it can be either to control the symptoms or to cure you from the disease, that medicine become essential.
So you practice Vipassana meditation. Why specifically Vipassana meditation? What are the different type of meditation practices that you know of? Why you have chosen Vipassana?
So initially when I was in college, I would follow the guided meditation available on YouTube. And that was hardly like 10 to 20, 15 minutes. And then later when I started this journey, I came across the Buddhism and evolution of it. And one of the teachers recommended that this course is really wonderful and it helps deal with all stressful situations. So I gave it a try at the Igatpuri Center, and I found it much more enhancing and much more going along with my daily routine. That's why I started practicing Vipassana. Few of the others are related to sadhana, which is much more prevalent in Hinduism, where we chant a mantra and number of times and focus on it while maintaining our breath. And others are these guided meditations which are available nowadays.
So you also like to solve Sudoku.
Yes, sir.
But tell me, when you are solving a Sudoku, or generally you are solving a Sudoku, what you have learned from this activity, apart from mathematical skills? What you have learned from it that have helped you to become a good doctor? And suppose you get into the services, how it will help you to become a good bureaucrat?
Sir, I reserve a part of my day to do this activity that I cherish, and keeping it in time and challenging every day that I have to reduce the time I take to solve a Sudoku has helped me become more efficient and productive, which will be useful in both working as a doctor as well as an administrator.
Okay. So let's take an example. So there are different, let's say, difficulty levels in Sudoku. You're stuck on a puzzle, which is having the most difficult level phase. So how do you break that impasse? What do you do?
I haven't come across one such situation yet, but if it were the newspaper, I would wait for the next day to see what the solutions are and where I'm exactly missing it.
But let's take a case. Now, when you are looking at a complex grid, there are a lot of permutation combination you have to do to solve that Sudoku. So how do you prioritize and what do you focus on while solving that particular case?
Sir, I tend to look at it through different methods. First would be I will take an individual digit and look at where and all I can possibly fill up that whole digit and cancel out that. And if that is not possible, I'll go grid-wise, look at the whole square. And if through that also I'm not able to go, then I would look at each line and see what I'm missing and trying to do a trial and error method. At least try 2-3 methods. And if that is also not happening, I would take a break, half an hour, go around, do some other activity and come with a new perspective and look at it again if I'm able to solve it.
So you have also lived in Bangalore and you are from Nasik also. So basically Bangalore is known as a garden city, beautiful gardens. Nasik is also known for the natural beauty that it has. But recently there was a talk about a protest to save the forest or the trees in that particular area. Have you aware about it?
Yes, sir, the Tapovan.
Yes. What is the issue that is going on?
So the Nasik Municipal Corporation marked the cities in the Tapovan area to build a Sevagram and an institute for further deliberation and discussions and exhibitions to be held there. The problem was that they marked the trees to count it, and there was no dialogue between the citizen and the corporation as to what were the steps, what was the plan the corporation was going ahead with. People took it as that they were going to cut all the trees. And there was actually, according to me, there was a miscommunication between what the corporation intended to do and what the people perceived it to do. Later, when people reached out to NGT, National Green Tribunal, they have asked to put a stay until January 20th and formed a joint committee to give a report on it. So based on that report, NGT will go ahead with what they want to do about it.
But just to intervene, what led them to, what happened exactly because of which the miscommunication took place?
So they marked all the trees with the same color too, and they didn't clearly tell how many trees they wanted to cut or how they wanted to compensate for the trees they were planning to cut. And some people took it to a political level as well to make it an issue. And I think corporation should have also let out whatever other places they had considered for the same, to went out the options they considered before coming to Tapovan. So that way, a clear communication with the citizens would have helped them to ensure that the decision was taken with consensus.
So, suppose you are a district collector of Nashik. The Kumbh Mela is going to happen. So, obviously, you need to do a lot of preparation. One of the part was that. So, how you would have handled it?
So, initially, I would have done a survey about whatever options were available to us to handle the crowd. Along with that, I would have engaged with civil society organization who are very active in these initiatives of protecting trees and areas. In that way, I would have ensured that I have the opinion of all those and I've agreed with them in that term. Then I would have laid out a clear plan about how we were going to go about it and what was the rehabilitation plan of again planting those trees and looking after that. And then I would have gone ahead with whatever decision would have come after all the process.
But in any case, there would have been a place where there would have been some trees or some nature that is going to get disturbed. So, don't you think that the development many of the times is going to hamper the environment? Shall always be halted, or shall we go with some another approach?
So that is seen in all the cases of development that environment is hurted. But what matters is when development is taking place, similar or actually double the effort should be taken to replant those trees again and look after them for 10 to 20 years so that development does not count as a harm on the environment. We are managing both and it is a sustainable development altogether.
Dr. SAYALI, you see, you are coming from the land of Veer Savarkar, right? And sometimes there is a demand from some people that Bharat Ratna shall be given to Savarkarji. What is your opinion on it?
So, in my opinion, Swatantra Veer Savarkar very much deserves the Bharat Ratna, for he has contributed in various aspects to the country. He was a great freedom fighter. He was a great writer as well. He was also a social reformer who wanted to work in the field of casteless society as well. So based on all the works he has done and plus the torturing part he spent in cellular jail, we need to acknowledge his part that he played in the freedom movement of the country.
Okay, whether Gandhiji was given a Bharat Ratna award?
So the first recipient, no sir.
Okay, but Miss Postmaster also Bharat Ratna is not given to Gandhiji.
I'm unable to recall it at the moment.
On the basis of what Bharat Ratna is given?
So they should have done exceptional service to the nation as one criteria I can think of. Others I'll have to check once again, sir. I'll read about it.
Okay. Generally, the binary is actually made about Gandhiji and Savarkarji.
Yes.
Right. But there are many commonalities also. So, do you find any commonalities between these two persons or the two leaders?
So, for both of them, the utmost thing was nation first. Both wanted a Swarajya where people were leading their own country. Second was both were against the caste system in the society, which was prevalent at that time. Other than that, I'm not able to recall at the moment. But these two are the foremost policies they were.
Okay. In the present day governance, do you find Gandhian principles we are implementing or we are practicing it in the governance system? Present day governance system. Do we actually include some Gandhian principles?
So majorly Gandhian principles that I can recall around were village-based system. But governance, I'm saying governance. So prime example I can think of Gandhiji's vision would be in the rural empowerment that government is focusing on. That is through MG Narega scheme, which was there initially, and now the current VB Ramji scheme, which also focuses that the plan of the village development will be made by the panchayat. So that again comes to a decentralized planning and implementation. Second will be the national education policy that is also focusing on education, which is very much rooted in the Indian values. We are also focusing on village-based industries in few areas by giving various schemes focusing on MSMEs, self-help groups, and women-led industries. So these are few areas where I can see Gandhiji's vision is coming into life.
So do you really see the future of cottage industries in the present, this era of liberalization, privatization and globalization? Will they survive in the strong competition which is coming from the big industries or the multinational companies? And do you find cottage industries nowadays?
So there are cottage industries nowadays, given the support of government, which is very much working in line to help them and become a bigger player. And we also have protectionist measures taken so that they survive the effect of this global.
But ultimately, they are surviving on the support of the government. Means it has its own cost.
Yes, sir.
So do you think that on cost benefit analysis means it is difficult to sustain these cottage industries, and we shall shift from that approach to other approach?
So one thing would be that cottage-based industry should be incentivized to scale up. They are currently staying at the lower level because they don't want to lose out on those benefits. Government should really focus on how to encourage them to scale up so that they in return lead to larger empowerment, and we have reduced unemployment in the society, because focusing on these, we'll be focusing on industrialization as well, which in case of India seems to be skipped off. We have directly jumped from agricultural society to a service-based society. So the focus on MSME should be so that they increase our industrial base, which is also very much important in the current global scenario as well.
Okay. See, presently Greenland is in news. What is the population of Greenland?
Sorry, sir, I'm unable to recall, but it is very less, around thousands.
Oh, means less than 1 lakh.
Yes.
As you say. Okay. Then why there is so much of this discussion around the world where population is literally less than 1 lakh and sparsely populated it? So what advantage will be there to Greenland if it is taken by the USA?
So there are few reasons that I can think of why US is into taking Greenland. One of that.
I'm asking question contrary. What will be the advantage to people from Greenland
If US takes over.
if US is taking Greenland?
Sir, there is always a attraction to many of the global citizens to become a citizen of US. That is the only benefit I can see. But the people tend to self-determine that they want to stay in Denmark, where they have free will to choose where they want to be.
Okay. And from when this issue is actually emerged or still going on? Since which years?
I can only recall that recently Trump has made the proposal. And before that, if I were to take an educated guess, if it is related to Monroe Doctrine, would be one. Other than that, I don't recall anything, sir. I'll have to read upon it.
SAYALI,
Yes.
you started your medical education somewhere during COVID, right?
Before COVID, sir.
Before COVID. So you were there during COVID.
Yes, sir. I was in second year. when
Second
COVID,
year of your
yes.
course. So what do you think? How did we handle the pandemic of COVID?
COVID experience was a mixed experience, I would say. At some places, many of they tend to develop their own solutions to tackle with the problem, and at some places it left the bare area open of how the health system is collapsing in India. Some of the achievements were also highlighted in COVID about our vaccine diplomacy and how fast we developed a vaccine, which usually takes 10 to 15 years to come up with a vaccine. Those are the positives. Negatives would be that our primary and healthcare, along with the bed shortage, when such a massive healthcare crisis comes up.
So on a scale of say 0 to 10, 0
Yes,
being
sir.
worst, 10 being the best.
Yes, sir.
So how would you rate the handling of COVID pandemic in India by government?
So 0 being worst and
Yeah, 10 being the best.
sir, I think I would scale it around 7.
7. You said we developed vaccine so fast. Otherwise, it takes around 10 to 15 years to develop any kind of a vaccine. So why we are not able to maintain that kind of a speed with respect to other diseases?
So first would be that there was an emergency here which was required to scale up the process. Second, that we were able to get all the clearances early, given the massive scale of the health crisis we were facing, which is not which does not happen with other vaccines. there is years of development, then clinical trials, and then a vaccine is released into the market. Along with the release, there are still studies conducted on it. With COVID, everything had come to a stop and we had to come up with a solution. And vaccine was the best.
So there were no pre-clinical trials.
It was held, but simultaneously studies were also done. But the scale for a normal vaccine, it usually takes 5 years of clinical trials. But in COVID, we sped up, fastened up the process and did it.
What is the issue of patent associated with the COVID vaccine? Are you aware of issue of patent?
I can think of the emergency release, but I'll have to revisit it again, sir.
Okay. You were also part of NCC. You have been the sports person, right? You also represented your sports college in the capacity of sports secretary.
Yes, sir.
So what my earlier colleague asked you with respect to health. So
Yes, sir.
meditation, I would like to add one more thing into that.
Yes, sir.
Sports. So how can we balance or how can we prioritize these three things in our life
So
to maintain the health?
as an individual,
Yeah,
how to
as an
pri-
individual.
So with sports, I would say that also can be included along with meditation at an early age, so that one person develops a habit of some physical activity from an early age. What I tend to see when children reach the age of, suppose they're in class 10th or 12th, they tend to lose habits on playing and all these extracurricular activities that they used to enjoy and to reduce their stress after studying. But later on, and actually the stress increases, people tend to lose these hobbies. So they become an essential part to deal with a
So
lot
how
of
can we
problems.
make it
every day.
essential part of even schools and colleges?
So I think first we have to treat it as a subject that is equally important as the subjects of studies. Many a times teachers tend to take up sports classes as an extra class to finish up the syllabus, and they tend to lose the importance.
That's
there.
fine. That's fine up to the school level.
Yes, sir.
When we start attending colleges, as you rightly said, when we start attending colleges and universities, pressure tend to go on increasing. There is a stress, and on the other hand, there are no sports at all.
Yes.
So how can we integrate at higher levels, at the levels of higher levels of education?
At university.
Yeah,
And
university and colleges level.
so we can encourage, first we'll have to provide the infrastructure. Many of the colleges don't have the infrastructure so that people can go and play. And also have regular competitions, give it as a points in their curriculum, which will show in their resume and later improve their employability also. So this way we can encourage sports as an alternative and even a complementary.
Is there any provision with respect to sports in recently introduced national education policy?
So Khelo India movement is one of the way we are trying to integrate.
Is that a
sports.
part of national education policy?
So it is integrated through ground level competitions, and there's also national sports policy which has been integrated with national education policy.
Okay. You are a student of medical science. You also opted for the optional as a medical science.
Yes, sir.
Down the line, 20 years, after 20 years, assuming let's say 20 or 45,
Yes, sir.
when you will be in secretarial capacity at the government level as a health secretary.
Yes.
What kind of challenges you will see before the health sector of India in 2045?
Sir, my view of 2045 healthcare would be that we have properly integrated technology into health system. That is starting from keeping a digital record of all the illnesses along with use of AI and also to some extent robotics in the surgeries. So to balance this and ensuring privacy of health records would be one challenge that I would face there. And also ensuring that medical ethics is followed, which is always going to be a problem now and then as well. So these are two areas that I would focus as a.
Okay. Other than this?
And hopefully by then we have worked on primary healthcare. That will be also in focus area. Where I would like to put maximum resources working on prevention.
Which segment of population you would like to work specifically by 2045? Which segment of the population may have a big health problem in 2045 or by that time?
So I think geriatric population will be one that will need a balanced approach then, because we are envisioned to see that 20% of the population by 2030 is going to be geriatric. So to focus on that population will be a key factor that I will focus on.
Okay, and what about the childs?
So we have already a number of programs dedicated to maternal and child health. It is only at the implementation level, and that we need to focus on.
Okay. What do you think? What will happen in Gaza? Will there be a permanent peace in Gaza?
So Gaza problem has been there for past 50 to 60 years now and is still evolving. Looking at the initiatives taken by few of the powers, I see that it can be only resolved by either Israel taking over it or Israel coming to a solution that it agrees to a two-nation theory. India has taken...
Looking at the great big powers taking some steps to contain that situation, don't you think now the time has come that the issue is going to settle it forever?
Looking at the initiative taken by Mr. Donald Trump, it looks like it will come to an solution soon. But it also comes to the point that how effective is the Gaza Peace Board that Mr. Trump has envisioned for.
Okay, fine. One last question, Ms. Sayali. What is your plan for next 1 year in case you don't get selected?
My initial plan was to work again in the rural healthcare system, and along with that appear for the exam again one more time.
Yeah, how many months you have worked in rural health sector?
So I've worked for 4 months.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir.
Okay, you would like to join it again?
Yes, sir.
And what if you are selected?
So if I'm selected, I'll be hopefully going to training in Labas now.
All right.
Yes, thank you, Sayali.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.